This video will talk about one of the most debated topics in the XRP community, which is whether or not the whole Ripple SEC thing was set up. In this video, we'll talk about some of the reasons why many smart people in the XRP community thought the whole dispute was a plan to clear XRP. But we'll give you the other side of the story and explain why it might not be done and why what's going on right now might suggest that it's not a made-up event. Many people will find this interesting, since there is a lot of discussion in the XRP community about whether or not this is all a setup. So, they quickly explained why many people in the community thought this event was faked. People came to this conclusion because of the many times SEC employees got together and talked about XRP. It was thrown out before the trial because it was said that XRP was not a security. SEC officials tell the public that payment tokens like XRP are not securities, but then the SEC does a complete 180 and goes after the same type of token that it said was not a title. This exciting change shows that the SEC knew payment tokens are not securities and that XRP is exactly what it says it is. This shows that the SEC is not totally stupid. They understand that XRP is not a security because they know it. Even though this case might have been set up, the SEC still decided to press charges. Before the Ripple SEC scandal became public, many people in the cryptocurrency community, especially lawyers, talked about taking legal action against Ripple. Since so many tokens look like securities, it wouldn't make sense to go after only Ripple. When the SEC took this action against the only company in the crypto market that was likely to go against the SEC, it brought a lot of attention to Ripple. This is another exciting sign that makes us think that this love of air was planned a long time ago. When you give it some thought, you might wonder why the SEC would want to do this. After all, if their main goal is to destroy cryptocurrencies and take control of them, why are they going after the only one that can fight back? Also, they won't have any reason to look for a token that the SEC has said is not a safe way to pay. The SEC said over and over again that tokens are not securities. Also, the SEC acknowledged that XRP is a payment token. Many of these signs show that the SEC already knows that XRP is not a security and that Ripple should be able to refute any claims to the contrary. In this case, the SEC couldn't do anything else because there wasn't enough evidence to back up their claims. When you add up all of these things and look at the people on Ripple's board of directors, which includes several SEC employees, you'll see that they spent 3 years looking into Ripple. The lawyers who were following this case were surprised that the SEC gave almost no evidence to back up their claim that XRP was a security. This makes many people stop and wonder if it makes sense for the SEC to end this case if they think they can win based on what we just said, which is that the survey will get a lot of negative feedback. Many people say that the SEC never really had a chance to win. So what's the point of pursuing this action if the SEC is never going to win? However, the same people often say that the point of this action is to make sure that the rules are clear. Congress needs to do its job and clear things up about digital assets. So, in the future, the only way to set rules for digital assets will be through the courts. Judges need to write down what is safe and what isn't in the law. For that to happen, there has to be a very important case. This SEC lawsuit against Ripple will be a big deal. This situation sets the standard for how cryptocurrencies are growing in the US, and to be honest, the situation fits that standard perfectly. This is what we are seeing right now. If the case goes to summary judgment and we do a thorough investigation into what makes XRP not totally to blame, it might be hard to find out. In fact, some points are very important to think about when making a new argument. These points are definitely against how the case is being set up. First of all, the fact that this case costs both companies a lot of money doesn't mean that either of them wants to waste so much time and money. We know that Ripple may have spent more than $100 million on lawyers and that the SEC has also spent a lot on this case. If it had been staged, the SEC wouldn't have waited as long as they could to get everything together as quickly as possible. It's also important to note that Ripple has been very critical of the SEC during this investigation. Some people might say now that it was all set up, But honestly, no one expected Ripple to criticize these SEC officials. Most of the time, when you are involved in a case, you are very quiet and only talk about a few things. So Ripple is putting in a lot of work. This just disproves the idea that people in the SEC are working together to get people out. If we think this case was set up, we should also think about how bad it is for the SEC. As you may have seen, the major news outlets have previously criticized the SEC and even shown how it has serious conflicts of interest. It doesn't make sense for the SEC to get involved. From the SEC's point of view, what would make sense? To put it simply, what if the US government tries to hide the fact that they are already working together by trying to hurt Ripple? What if the main point of the story is that other countries will eventually be better at banking and cross-border transactions than the United States? What if it was a trick to make deals with other countries as quickly as possible? This would explain why Ripple seems to be on the other side. Was this done on purpose? A crypto analyst has a point of view, so let's look into it. As with any important federal complaint, the details are complicated, but here's the gist. Ripple made a lot of XRP and kept a lot of it for itself and its executives. The rest, worth more than $1 billion, was sold to the public. Also, they sold it with the promise that as the Ripple business grew, so would the value of the XRP coin. The complaint revealed an elaborate plan to artificially raise the price of the XRP coin. The SEC says that when Garland House and Larson sold XRP, they made more than $600 million for themselves. From the SEC's point of view, Ripple's sale of XRP passes the Howey test. People bought tokens because they thought the price would go up once Ripple was able to successfully sell its technology to businesses. Ripple says that XRP is not a security. Instead, it says that the token is more like another type of investment commodity. Most of the time, a commodity is a raw material like metal or a crop. The general counsel for Ripple, Stuart Alderodi, says that buying an XRP token is more like buying a diamond than buying Ripple stock. He points out that XRP doesn't give you a stake in the company or a cut of its profits. Ripple says the answer is not yes. The business's marketing materials say something different. In its legal briefs, the company says that Ripple's actions don't have as much of an effect on the value of XRP as the ups and downs of the crypto market as a whole. In 2020, a well-known Ripple and cryptocurrency fan named XRPCRO set up a Twitter poll. He showed that most people who invest in Ripple think XRP will go up above $100. The poll, which had over 1,000 people take part and was aimed at the XRP community, found that 43% of those polled planned to sell most of their XRP holdings for about $100. Others said they'd sell between $10 and $50, and the last 18% said they cut their long positions by between $3 and $10. They were also asked which cryptocurrency they thought would give them the best return. 15.7% chose VeChain, a supply chain management technology, while 77.9% chose XRP. Bitcoin BTC and Ethereum ETH got 2.9% and 3.5% of the votes, respectively. In the past few years, the number of people interested in cryptocurrencies has grown, and investors now see them as a possible safe place for their money. This will make it possible for the cryptocurrency market to keep growing and for cryptocurrency trading to become the norm. Almost certainly, the future will be all digital, but we are already living in that future. Please tell us what you think in the comments. And if you want to stay up to date, click the subscribe button.